We're late. We're late. We're late for a very important date. Good morning.
Good morning, Oz. Good morning, everybody. I'm so happy Shanda is with us today.
Good morning, fam. So glad to be here this morning for Women's Wednesday.
Yeah, it is Women's Wednesday. Three ladies that I obviously miscommunicated to get the link to them, and one has a meeting. Amber's got a meeting today, so she has bowed out. Busy. We'll catch her next week, hopefully. I really got behind this morning. I apologize, everybody, but I want to do my shouts out. Barbara, good morning, Barbara, and Melissa. Melissa's always apologizing for missing the show the day before. Oh, Melissa, we appreciate that. You never have to apologize to us. We might have to apologize to you, but never us. Who else we have in here? We got Jilly.
The Green Report.
Yeah.
Miss Whitney.
Yeah. Whitney, why didn't you grab that link, hon? Whitney, I'll put a window in if you want to jump in. I sent you the thing, the Zoom link. So, what do you think, ladies? Should I work on that? Get Whitney in here? Can I do that?
Sometimes it's
You're the man behind the curtains, Oz.
Yeah, well,
you control.
I'm doing a shitty job of it this morning, I got to tell you. But so I will apologize.
But I love Whitney, so yeah, if she's able to, I'm more than happy if it works out.
Yeah, let me, Whitney. It's the same link that I sent you in your email. Please jump in, and once you do, I will be alerted, and I'll put a camera in for you. I've got it sitting here waiting. It's all revved up and ready to go. Just got to drop you in. Anyway.
Good morning, Al.
Hey, Al. YP Award member Al. Yes, yeah, he won the YP Award for his dedication to the truth and participating in our democracy. I'm going to be in the comments. Whitney is not going to come in today, but Whitney, if you don't come in today, we're going to make you come in next week, okay?
Bully.
I'm a bully. I'm an asshole. I'm a privileged asshole, so I got to do that. So anyway, I digress. Rhonda just dropped something in right before the show. We were bored. We couldn't figure out what we were going to do today. So Rhonda dropped this.
Bored, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we were bored. Rhonda, can you kind of set this up before I play it?
Yeah, so this here is a recording captured from some police officers in New York and their thoughts about what should happen to the people who may be blocking traffic to make a point. So it's, let's see what our good old boys in blue in New York think about the protesters on the street, shall we, Oz?
Yeah, let's do that. And TMC is usually pretty good, so I'm not going to vet it, but I am going to run it twice. Now, listen carefully to the second half of this 20-second clip.
So we have a group of people blocking traffic on Albany and Dean Street. They're refusing to let the orange go eastbound on Dean Street and Albany. So we're stuck here. Run them over.
Shoot those motherfuckers. Don't put that over yet.
So we have a group of people blocking traffic on Albany and Dean Street. They're refusing to let the orange go eastbound on Dean Street and Albany. So we're stuck here.
Run them over. Shoot those motherfuckers. Don't put that over yet.
Run them over. Shoot the motherfuckers. Would that be conspiracy to commit murder?
I think it's just first degree with intent. I don't know. What Shanda? How do you take that?
Definitely intent and inciting, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely intent and inciting. I don't need know all the legal terms, but it was just totally fucked up, and they're assholes and jerks and sick. So there you go.
And will they be punished?
Will they be punished? Well, they're going to get in the doghouse on this one. And again, I wish we could have had, a clearer recording, but that sounded clear enough to hear it, right? And it was closed captioned underneath. You want me to run it one more time or no?
Why not? People need to hear this shit.
Yeah, let's do it one more time.
So we have a group of people blocking traffic on Albany and Dean Street. They're refusing to let the orange go eastbound on Dean Street and Albany. So we're stuck here.
Run them over. Shoot those motherfucker. Don't put that over the air.
All right. You know, that, say what you want. Some people might, oh, that was edited.
Well, so these are people that are just blocking. So they even said they're blocking the roadway. They're not fighting. They're not throwing anything. They're not rioting. They're not doing anything. They're standing there. They're blocking a roadway. And one of the good old boys in blue thinks it's A-okay to either run them over or shoot and kill them. And then the other officer, the only thing they say is, "Oh, don't say that over the air." Not, are you kidding me? Are you not getting what these people are out here for? Come on, it's bullshit.
Exactly. It's not don't say that. It's don't say that over the air so we get caught saying it.
Right.
Well, look, the culpability here is going to come around, and this is.
Well, it's been the police officers. Let's make this, because we're going to talk about this later on. But it's been the police officers that have been causing the damage, that are causing the violence, that are doing all this destruction. And you can see there that they have nowhere in their minds about de-escalating any kind of event.
Yeah, for the most part. Shanda, you want to give your in on that aspect of they are not.
Yeah, I was just
de-escalating?
reading in the chat, and Jilly Love says that a young woman asked a cop, what's going to happen after the 8 p.m. curfew? And he said, we're going to beat the fuck out of you guys.
I thought it was beat the shit out of you. Was it beat the fuck out of you?
I don't know, but pretty much they alluded to, if you don't leave, we're going to beat you.
Yeah, I heard that clip this morning somewhere in my meanderings and my running around. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know. I don't even know how to close this one out. Do you? I mean, it's just like.
Well, I don't know if we need to close it out, because I think it's just going to keep going throughout the show. So
yeah, all day long.
We'll say it's a running theme. It's not funny. No laughing really, because it's funny.
Yeah, no,
but it's going to be a very reoccurring theme. It's disgusting, the violence and the destruction that's happening out there, and then all the blame is getting put on the Black Lives Matter folk, and it's wrong. It's wrong, and it's going to take all of us to stand up and keep bringing light to that, and keep getting the voices out of who's truly doing the damage here in the United States.
Yeah, God, can you even say this is up to debate? Today we're going to do something a little bit different here, since as creator of the show this morning, we're going to bring in some comments. So please, questions and comments, or just statements can we do this, ladies, just today? It's Women's
Yes,
Wednesday.
please.
Yeah.
I like Jilly's comment. If you're not anti-fascist, then are you pro-fascist?
Yeah, that's.
Well, it's not even a question, Jilly. If you're not anti-fascist, anti being anti-fascism, you are fascist. You either are or you aren't. And there's no grayness in there, which people try to think that there is. There's not. You're either for fascism and out there fighting it. And out there backing that. And if you're silent, you're backing that. Just to let you guys know, if you're not saying anything, you are showing that fascism is okay right now. Or you're out there. And again, if you can't be in the streets, there's tons of things to do. You don't have to be in the streets to be a big piece in killing fascism in the United States. And that's what we got to do. We got to kill the fascism out of our being.
Yeah. Shanda, can you read this one? Can you read it clear enough from Sharon?
From Sharon, if it didn't move on me, it's becoming more and more obvious to more and more people that we don't really have a democracy here, or many of the basic freedoms we thought we had. Exactly. And I think a lot of us knew this years ago, and more people are waking up to the fact that our constitutional rights are being stomped. Our constitution is being gutted. Yeah, we're in a mass awakening right now.
The only true freedom we have at this moment, and even that is on the brink, and or depending, not necessarily full freedoms, is really the freedom of our own being, of our own self, of our own flesh. And even that can be taken away in a blink of an eye. So yeah, we truly don't have the freedoms like people think we do.
Well, Alex Whitney, who will be here next week, I hope, from the Green Report. Yeah, the world is crazy. Yes, Alex, it is crazy. Just boom, that's it. And, the injustices that we're perpetrating upon each other, and in the middle of the fight for justice and true democracy is just, it's crazy. Do you guys see some other statements out there that
I saw something about, Barbara said something about we have a win for Chelsea Manning.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
That's about.
Yeah, is there something, Barbara, can you, I'll put this up here, some good news.
Yeah, drop in the chat what's going on. I would love to know.
Yeah, and alert me to this. It takes about 30 seconds for the application to reload to get them up after they've posted them in the YouTube, so be cognizant of that. I'm gonna run this soapbox from In the Now right now, and this is I think it's RANIA. Is that Rania Kellick? I'm just gonna run a little bit of this. Stop blaming outsiders. This is America, and this goes back to what we covered yesterday, folks, with the lefties, the neolibs, and some others are just talking about Russia's doing this, Russia. But it's kind of sad because they added a few other countries that I didn't even realize were countries.
For the protests against the police murder of George Floyd. Elites want you to blame anything but them.
Out of the Russian playbook, their aim is not simply to embarrass the United States, Wolf. Their aim is to divide us, to cause us to come into combat with each other, to disintegrate from within. I wouldn't be surprised to learn that they're funding it in some way, shape, or form.
That's right, a black woman in America blaming racial tensions on the Russians. That's how hegemonic the American ruling ideology is.
For decades, the Russians, when it was the Soviet Union, the communists, they've often tried to embarrass the United States by promoting the racial divide in our country.
It's not that our behavior is embarrassing, it's that the neighbors can see our dirty laundry.
Foreign adversaries are also trying to exploit the situation. China, Russia, you mentioned Zimbabwe.
Iran has certainly been active in this, in this realm.
Exploit how? To laugh at our hypocrisy? That's what you're worried about? Also, Zimbabwe? What? Is the whole world our adversary? Because look what our allies are doing, protesting outside of US embassies. But no, it's not centuries of slavery, lynching, dispossession, Jim Crow, redlining, mass incarceration, or routine police murders that put Derek Chauvin's knee on George Floyd's neck and led to the explosion of outrage across the country. It was Putin and Rouhani skillfully manipulating black Americans and American police. Did the Russians tell this NYPD SUV to plow into protesters? Did Putin tell these cops to shoot at journalists too?
As we see, that camera person just got shot.
So COVID is China's fault and the protests are Russia's fault. Blaming foreigners for domestic riots is right out of the dictator playbook. The US funds unrest and protests in other countries, so of course officials think their adversaries might be doing the same. It's actually out of the US playbook. And of course, it's a way to avoid indicting our brutal system for the chaos across America. It's just an international version of the outside agitators claim. Americans don't need Russians to stoke unrest. They also didn't need Russians to get Trump elected. He, like riots, are a symptom. With such deepening levels of inequality and state violence, what did you think was gonna happen?
Anybody want to disagree with Raya there?
No, what I thought it was, I started chuckling because in my mind as she was talking towards the end there, just this vision of Donald as a little kid getting in trouble for something, and him always just, it wasn't me, it wasn't me, ghost. It's somebody else. Goes China. Oh, it's China, ma, China. I can just see him like it's starting at a very young age. He has perfected it by now on blaming everybody but himself for anything.
Shanda.
So just to give a little history to this narrative, a lot of the politicians pulled this narrative from, I believe it was a leaked KGB memo from the 70s that said the way to destroy America would be from the inside out by changing the ideology of our children over generations. So I see the politicians clinging to that narrative over and over, that's what they've done. They've came in, they've infiltrated indoctrinated us and they've changed the ideology of our kids, so they'll rise up against us. But obviously that's not what's going on. It's just, and can they pick one? It's Iran, it's Zimbabwe. They got this big military force that's coming in and messing with us. It's
I didn't know that they ran our education system, but it makes sense. Right. I mean, okay.
Right. They're just
it's ridiculous. It is. The only fault it is ourselves, and take the blame, learn from it, and let's not ever do this shit again. I mean, come on. Wow. Learn from our mistakes. That's what we're told as children, right? So our leaders need to grow the fuck up.
Well, this by the way, Jupiter Judy, long time no see. Glad to see you here today. You want to read this one, Rhonda, please?
Sure. From Jupiter Judy. 7-year-old black boy asks his dad, "Are we going to be slaves again?" What the fuck? I saw this out there, Jupiter Judy. Thank you. Correct. Yeah. Black men are having to talk to, or men are need to talk to their black children. There's some scary, scary, scary times happening out there. I've had to have some very hard conversations with my children. But this is true. I saw this and the father was just devastated. He actually went off a bit more about this. I can't remember what his response was, but yeah, how could they not think that, honestly? This is a very, very real fear. Can you believe this? Can you believe in 2020 that young black boys are so worried about becoming slaves again?
Well, if you look at the context of history of how America was built, and not even just America, how the British colonized everywhere, right? And it was to put white people everywhere. I mean, America was built to be a white country. And I don't think that even though we had the Civil War, I don't think we've ever had the throwdown battle out for America, and wrestling it from the rich white elites.
We haven't.
Well,
you're right. There hasn't been.
Well, it's this was shocking to me to find out that Zimbabwe is behind this. What the F? Anyway, Marcus, no joke. Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. He had a couple of things to say, and I'm trying to catch up. Marcus. At Uphill Media. There are lots of demonstrations in Europe against the systemic suppression of people of color. Yes, there are, Marcus, and please keep them flying because
they're happening all over the world.
All over the world, and the mainstream media bullshit does not cover nearly a small fraction of what should be covered in that respect. I don't know what to say, ladies. I think I'm just going to move on to the next one. This one's a point of contention with somebody, and believe me, from what I just found out, I was going to come at this story a little bit different than I had originally thought, but this is why we vet things as best we can here. And Shanda, do you want to run this first, or do you want to give us a little in on it?
No, go ahead and run it first.
Okay, let's run it first. We are not endorsing this Logan Paul thing, but let's let them have their say.
Listen closely. One of my biggest learnings from all of this, and I'm embarrassed that it's taken me 25 years to realize this. It is not enough to be not racist. You have to be anti-racist.
Yes.
Condemn those who feign superiority because of the color of their skin. Friends, hold friends accountable. Hold your family accountable. Hold yourself accountable. And most importantly, we must hold our authorities accountable. Police officers, politicians, policymakers. As Killer Mike said, bully the politicians at the voting booth. Mm-hmm. Make your voice heard. Attend a protest. Speak up against injustice. If you're white, if you look like me, use your privilege. And for those who do not think white privilege exists, you are fucking blind. You are delusional and you are part of the problem. I can count on 0 hands the amount of times that I have feared for my life at a routine traffic stop. That has never happened. Half of the reason I'm able to get away with some of my hooligan shit I do in my vlogs is because I'm a white kid. I'm confident that I do not have to fear for my life should the cops show up. acknowledge and weaponize your privilege. I believe we're going to a protest today. You can bet your fucking ass I'll be in the front line. Knowing all this about America, its racially charged background, its inability to truly treat humans as equals, even after 244 years since its inception, we must now work towards finding the solution. And if you are an influencer or celebrity friend of mine, I hope you are using your platform to continue to spread the message of solidarity and unity. I do not have all the answers, but I know we must now reverse engineer the system as a collective. We must open our eyes and realize that there is only one race, and that is the human race.
Okay, before you go, Shanda, Melissa said, I heard this on David Dole, and she was very, very impressed with it. And I can't follow the chat because you guys are flying today. Man, wow. But I will tell you one thing. This is where I picked it up, too, originally, and I had framed it in my mind a totally different way. But one thing I'm going to point out, and then Shanda, take it away, is that he was reading this from a script, which is fine. A lot of people do. But this is something that I think any one of these ladies, myself, wouldn't have needed a goddamn script to say what this kid said. Maybe he wanted to get the whole thing out. But anyway, Shanda, with that, you're teed up. Let her fly.
Right. So Pat, the Batman fan, says this guy is not to be trusted at all. So if you followed his career over, I don't know, the last 10 years, he has a huge following on YouTube. He's an international star. He's very controversial. He gets in trouble a lot. He was very disrespectful in Japan and other places that he's been, and he's taken a lot of heat for it. Nothing he said today or that day I disagree with. I absolutely 100% agree with him. I don't care if he read it off the script or not. It needs to be said. The problem is he immediately left this interview, went out on the streets, and I don't know if he was involved in looting, but I have seen a video where looters run into his store. They come out with a huge bottle of vodka and they hand it to him. So he takes that bottle of vodka, and later on in the night, there's still pictures of him partying in the streets with this bottle of vodka. It outraged people because this kid makes millions of dollars. He is out there representing and saying, you know, they don't want him to be promoting the looting, basically, is where it came across. So nothing he said I disagree with. I just disagree with his tactics. You can't preach this and then 12 hours later go and participate in acts that are going to be getting Black Lives Matter and the movement condemned.
Yes, this is where I come in. I get pissed. So white people, when you go out there, don't do anything that could possibly come back on Black Lives Matter or those who are fighting for justice in the streets. Do not spray paint buildings on behalf of Black Lives Matter or any matter. Do not break windows because you are pissed at the system. If a black or brown person wants to break a window because they are pissed off at the system, so be it. You do not get to. White people need to stop. White people need to step back, and white people just need to support the actions of those on the ground who are truly fighting for their lives. This is ridiculous. This guy made it about him, not about the movement. It is disgusting.
Yeah, well,
I agree.
Yeah, I get you, and a couple of comments in here. I won't put them up, but Marcus said script ? And he started laughing. And yeah, I agree with you, Shan. It doesn't matter if it was script or not. I think teleprompting, they all use it. Again, when I get on my rocket-powered soapbox from hell, I don't use a script. Maybe I should. It'd be cleaner. But Jilly said the content was 100% whether he was honorable or not. Yeah, and that's what you said, Shanda. The content, I think, was pretty right on. So there you go. But this to me, and this was the only flag that I thought about when I was going to bring this story in differently this morning. Wonder if this guy's taking advantage of a situation to promote himself. That's
what this kid does.
He's absolutely 100% doing that, because if he truly believed in this, he would have acted so much differently out on the ground. This was, no, he's in the wrong. Absolutely 100%. You cannot go out and say these words 1 second and then act that way the next and truly believe in what's going on in the movement. So yeah, he is all about himself.
Yeah, I think so too. And I don't have a problem with the message, but the problem with the message turns out to be, like Shanda pointed out, you turn around and have that message and you go out and pull some chicanery, and whether it is or not, it's the optics of the thing, and that will be in turn used against the overall movement. Don't you guys agree?
100%.
Yeah, and that's what we can't say. Franklin.
Oh, just to make sure, everybody out there, record. If you're out on the streets and you see anything that anybody is doing that is not of black or brown skin, record it. Just record it, and we need to start sending and dumping these places, because the more and more we're able to catch, which is insane amounts of footage at this point of other people causing the damage and causing the violence, the more we can show that and prove that, the better we're going to be, and we can make this thing actually keep and sustain and actually make full true changes in our country.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're really going at it, isn't it? The sheepdogging of everyone is always what they're complaining about. Yeah, it is. It's taking an opportunity of taking what's happening. Most looters are cops or people looking to take advantage of situations, or people stealing food. One guy looted a laundry detergent from CVS. What does that tell you? Yeah, exactly, Melissa. We talked about that yesterday. There's this whole cabal of anarchists and looters and everything else, and I hate to say it. Well, I'm going to say it anyway. I don't hate to say it. You got to look at all these individually, because there's such a mix of what's happening here because of this situation. Marcus, he's using this for his studio channel. It's not about the message. Yeah, that's what I'm always worried about when I give somebody a platform. We talked about who we bring on to Uphill Media. Marcus is on the board of Uphill Media. He's kind of my boss, partner, everything else, and I really enjoy that because he's such a good guy. But we really are looking at what we bring on Uphill Media story, people we bring on to interview. We're trying to be as thoughtful as possible. So if we make a mistake, it's up to you guys to help us vet these things. And we want to do it fairly to everybody involved, but just some of them are so blatant. Like this guy, I had no clue. I'd never really seen him before, and that should have been something for me, because I read too much, I watch too much, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, that's where we're at. Do you guys want to jump into the Crystal Sauger debate right now so we can get that behind us?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Now, this morning was just hell trying to put stuff together because it's just sweeping in. But this was Crystal and Sauger debating on looting this morning. And believe me, we could cut this up and scrutinize every section. But I think Sauger's been a little bit butthurt lately because Crystal's been handing him his head. So he got a little bit rougher in his discourse today, and maybe that's to build the platform at the Hill. But let's shut up, Oz. Let's listen to the clip.
Riots, and we're having this violence, and we seem to perpetuate the idea that we are just such a horrific racist nation, which is just not true. No country on earth has done more to atone for its racial mistakes than the United States of America. And if you look at all of that in that context, and you think about this, then trying to justify looting of people's stores and killing people like David Dorn and beating small businesses because, yes, the billionaire class we should rightfully call them out, is just not, the trying to draw moral equivalence between that, or even trying to justify it, is ridiculous. The way that the billionaire class was able to loot this country, ship jobs to China and import, mass immigration, the way that they did that is by taking control of the levers of power in America. So that is what productive populist action needs to be.
I don't see anyone calling the National Guard on them. Look, I'm against race reductionism.
I'm
also against class reductionism, because why is it that Black people and brown people are overwhelmingly more likely to be poor, to have little wealth in this nation? And if you look at the police data, which I agree with you, I don't think that this discussion can stay in just policing. because policing exists within a system of cruelty and dehumanization and the breakdown of the rule of law, which was perpetrated long before these protests started to occur. So I agree with you that it has to be a more systemic conversation, that the Amazons of the world and the Bank of Americas of the world would be much less comfortable with. However, I don't think you can ignore the fact that race is still very much alive and well as a major issue, and that anti-Black sentiment is still alive and well as a major issue within society and specifically within the criminal justice system, which is why you see such an overwhelming number of young Black men criminalized over and young brown men criminalized over white people. So I don't think that we can ignore race and class and the way that the two intersect.
Yeah, but if you were to listen to
Yeah, but nothing. Sorry, Sauger.
Yeah, I gotta.
Bad.
No,
Did he
He's
actually
not getting
say no country has done more to atone for racism? Did he say that?
Yeah. Hey, Marcus, from the German perspective, has the United States done more to curb racism than any other country in the world? Come on, Marcus, let's hear that. I want to hear from the Germans. Anyway. Yeah, that was Sauger's definitely butthurt. So, ladies, go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted. Go right ahead.
I don't care if he's butthurt. I think Crystal, for sticking to her guns, you can tell in there that she was like, just like, what? She's just beside herself. So thank you, Crystal. That's what I want to say. Thank you, Crystal. Shanna, go ahead. I know you have more
she
to
was
say.
doing those hard swallows and hard blinks like, are you effing kidding me? That was a classic case of white privilege. I mean, this guy is a Republican, normally he falls on the side of understanding the corruption in our country. I think he does understand that, but to blame looters and protesters, I don't think he's seeing the full picture. And I think that he willfully doesn't want to see the full picture.
I agree with that. Willfully is totally true, because don't tell me he doesn't have access to see what's going on out there day to day, being in the news.
Hey, Rhonda,
so he is willfully keeping his eyes shut on certain things for sure.
You want to read this from Nate, and I asked him if that question mark after history was supposed to be an exclamation point, and then he's going to beat the shit out of me for even saying that. But go right ahead.
No other country has done more than the U.S. to repair their racial history, ? I'd say South Africa has. This guy is silly. Silly's a nice way of putting it.
You're so nice, Nate. Silly.
He's silly. He's just silly. I do like that. Silly isn't used actually as often as it should.
Well, Nate, you're a class act, man. I would say that's pretty fucked up, but you said silly, so I'll go with yours. Oh my God in heaven. What else we got? Man, the chat is flying today, guys. This is really nice. I'm glad you're engaged. I hope that we're hitting on all the cylinders that you want us to hit on. Like I said, this is a hot mess of an evolution of a news and opinion show. We want to make it look a little bit different. So, again,
I'd say I was a little bit. I'd say I was. I wanted to say I was a little disappointed in Sagar, but I actually wasn't. I actually have been expecting something like this to happen on some kind of thing, because he has been kind of too much aligned with too many things being a Republican. So there was going to be a line, and look where that line kind of comes up. And that's, so it should say a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I love Jillie's comment here where she says, poor people loot because they are rigged into poverty. And this is a conversation I've been having over and over and over this week, especially when somebody says to me, well, who are you going to call if somebody breaks into your house? Well, as a poor person, you don't call the cops. I'm sorry, because we get stuck in a system where if you get pulled over for a speeding ticket, then you get a fine. You can't pay that fine. Now you've got a warrant. Now you go to jail. Now you're driving on a suspended. You call the cops because somebody broke into your house. You're the one who goes to jail. And most of the poor communities know it. So, these arguments of, well, we can't come after the police because they protect us. They protect a section of the people in this country. They don't protect all of us.
Oh, come on, Marcus. I got broad shoulders. I want to hear your response. Come on, buddy. If you agree, if you disagree.
Save it for Saturday. No joke.
Yeah, let's.
Ooh, yeah.
Or save it for Saturday. Put it on your show. No joke. Saturday morning, 10 a.m. It's in the Progressive Weekly Review slot that Marcus and Dennis took over. So it's turning out to be a great show, along with all the other great shows we're doing up at Uphill Media. So.
Did you see what Cesar put in our chat here?
Yes, I did. I did. Over 50 cops went to a high school to arrest 14 kids for violating curfew.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a link. I'm going to have to look at that later. This is, again, fucking disgusting.
I got a link this morning where a 13-year-old boy was shot and killed, and they fired 19 shots into him somewhere last night. I can't say for sure, but yeah.
Yeah,
go ahead, Oz, sorry.
No, Marcus came back with what Crystal was trying to make clear to Sagar this morning. Cold looters got trillions, hot looters got peanuts. Again, not only did the hot looters get peanuts, but they're also getting stopped by the Black Lives Matter people. So, don't do it, whatever the motivation. But I'm not going to pass judgment on these looters when many of them may be desperate in their own skin, while the Congress of the United States gives the biggest wealth punch to the corporate oligarchs in history. So between 2008 and now, we see what we have for government. It's all about the corporate oligarchy. So, yeah, Marcus, we're with you. Any other comments you guys want to throw up there?
You think if Biden gets elected, he'll call the National Guard on the high-class looters?
No, but he won't say shoot. He's not going to say. He's going to say shoot their dog or something. Oh my! Shoot him in the legs. Shoot him in the leg. Shoot him in the leg. Shoot him in the leg. Poor Joe.
And then take away their Social Security and their Medicare or any kind of medical care, and we'll be good.
Yeah,
and lock them up for smoking pot.
Lock them up for smoking pot. The crime bill. I stand behind the crime bill. Oh my God.
He might let us out if we say that we'll rub his leg hairs or something. Though, so it might be easier to get out of jail with him in there then.
Oh, where's my bag?
You never know.
God damn. Well,
I've offered to braid it.
I tried to find the clip, but Sagar was saying something about the elections last night, about how Joe Biden won, the presumptive nominee, and at the end of the clip, said that Sagar said something to Crystal, and she said about Joe Biden, "I'm really looking forward to that." I thought she was going to throw up all over her screen. So, if you catch that today, enjoy it as much as I did. Joe Biden, the presumptive nominee. By the way, Joe, who's going to be your VP pick? What are you waiting for? Are they purposely setting him up to be removed or replaced before or at convention? That's why they don't want to.
What convention?
What?
We're not getting a convention.
Oh, I'm sorry. You mean that sideshow that they're going to say, okay, democracy, Joe Biden. Is that what it is? Is that what it's going to be? Oh, okay. I know the fuckery has been running rampant here in Washington State, and it's got to be tied to the DNC, wouldn't you think, Rhonda?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do think. Yes. I think they're going to find out that these online caucuses and conventions that we're doing in the States really provides a very good chance of really being the overlord of the processes going forward. I mean, they really will have full control of every aspect of it through like a Zoom or whatever, however they figure out to do it remotely. So I am still 100% in my guns that they're going to try to do it remotely, really not try to do it in person because it's not as easily contained, even though they run it. But because of 2016, I do think they are going to stick with, for sure, the virtual ones. So they will have total control and they will control every narrative of every step of the way. Right. And we'll see who comes out at the end, whoever they anoint. I do not believe it'll be Joe, though, is my prediction. It'll be virtual and no Joe at the end, but one of their anointed ones.
Really?
Agree.
The more this
Yeah,
unfolds,
that's my prediction.
I used to be with you, but the more I watch this clown car go forward, I think they, again, don't give a shit. They're just going to put Joe up there as Bollock from that puppet in that first Star Trek guy. The Clint Howard was in it. I don't know, pop culture, but Joe Biden's just a puppet. He's a placebo, in my opinion, and they have no desire to win under any pretense other than Donald Trump doing what he's doing now. They think that with him calling out the military and the way he's handling, might be enough to get him over the top. It might be. I don't know.
So are you saying that the Democrats may profit from what's going on in our country right now?
Damn it, you're so sarcastic.
I'm sure they're giving every penny that comes in during this place we are in time. I'm sure they're giving every back to the communities that most need it.
I can tell you that the Biden campaign is actually funneling money in Minneapolis to cover bail for a lot of these protesters, and the Republicans are screaming their heads off about it.
Oh,
just so you know, that's out there. I was like, okay, that's one good thing. The first good thing I've heard Biden do in years.
Well, yeah. I've heard.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I've heard the money stats so far, and it's crazy. Trump's got 250 million, and Biden's got 174 million. The difference is the individual donors to Trump.
Yeah.
Biden's individual donors, whereas they drink out of the same trough. So the big donors are donating to both of them, but the individual donors are just pretty much donating to Trump. So that's it.
So that's a lot of voters donating to Trump versus voters donating to Biden. So if you don't want Trump, and I don't even know what. I mean, we're such in a horrible place right now.
Yeah, it is. I caught this comment about Joe Biden and his VP. A dingo ate my baby. They have told Joe, his VP, he just keeps forgetting. I wouldn't take any bets against that, a dingo. I think you're exactly right. I mean, shit. Hey, Joe, remember, it's Kamala. No, it's Amy. No. Oh, never mind. Just keep going. So, yeah.
I think it was gonna be more geared towards Amy.
Me too.
Before this happened. I really think she was gonna be it. But she, again, like many people in power right now, have really shot her foot by not doing what is right throughout their history of serving. And so things will be coming out, I'm sure, on most people that they bring up. It's just the way of the world up there is nothing but corruption, nothing but keeping the little people down. So I am glad that did come out. I'm glad I'm hoping she's no longer in their minds running mate pick. I didn't like her from the beginning personally. So, yeah, they went the wrong way with her 100% to begin with. But
my money's on Stacey Abrams.
I'll take that bet.
Yeah. Well, it needs to be.
I
would rather have Barbara Lee, honestly.
She's too progressive, though.
She is too progressive. Not necessarily as progressive as we always want her, but she is too progressive for their flavor, for sure. So yeah, I think you're right. I think they're gonna have to. And this isn't, again, I don't think by any of their first, second, third choices. I think they're gonna have to go with Stacey Abrams. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So you two say they're going to have to go with Stacey Abrams, right?
I think they're going to feel like they have to.
Okay, you hear it now, everybody. Oz says Rhonda and Shanda are wrong. They're not going to go with Stacey Abrams. They're going to go with a dark horse out there, and in the sense of somebody out of left field.
A Tim Kaine?
No.
It'll be a female.
It'll be a female, but it'll be somebody we don't hear about every day.
A female Tim. Yes, okay.
A female.
I'll give that to you too. I guess I'm being hopeful to think that they would finally allow a woman of color to get in there. I'm saying that they need to. They should be doing that. But you're right. They most likely will not.
Right. I agree, Oz. I agree. They'll come out of nowhere with somebody that we're just like, what the fuck?
Well, that's going to...
who is this?
That's that shock and awe level of excitement that might just put them over the edge. And it's all about timing, as far as I'm concerned. Again, I don't think the Democratic establishment, the elites and the Democrats give a shit if they beat Trump or not. That it's all about, making money. Ron Shanda, that sort of stuff. I know that we've had a little bit of sound up and down. I have to say that when you go to Twitter, it's higher than YouTube. So I've got to adjust that manually. I apologize, but great chat today. It's been really wild. Melissa, you got some great comments. Marcus, Nate, Barbara, Jill, everybody's got great comments. I don't want to single out anybody here. Melissa was talking about how some lady was driving through and she just opened her door or rolled down her window to see what happened, and the cop shot her in the face with probably a pepper pellet or whatever, which sucks. But again, I think, as closing out the Crystal Sauger debate and looting, Sauger's the conservative, Crystal's the progressive, so I don't beat up on him too bad, but some of the stuff he says is just, really, Sauger? Really? So anyway, any last words on this before we start to get ready to close out?
Nope.
Yeah. Nope. Let me read a couple comments. Mark, it's nice to see Marcus in here. I know it's kind of late there for you, Marcus. What is it? It's past your bedtime, I'm sure. Rhonda's mic your mic is, I guess, high today. Rhonda, did you turn it up or put a battery?
No,
she's closer to her mic than what
one
we're
size
used to.
fits all mic here,
Yeah,
baby.
Usually it's the other way around. I'm the one that's eating the mic. And
Nate made me move up to be louder, so it's really Nate's fault.
Nate's fault.
Actually.
Nate's fault. Let me see what other comments. God, there's just so many comments I can't even keep up with them. Great comments, guys. Again, the deal on the rising. The reason why they're doing this is they're on the road and they've got some super secret special report that they're going to do tomorrow, or they'll be back in their normal studio tomorrow. So we like our friends over at the Risings. They're not gods, but they at least talk about things that the mainstream's not trying to sell all the time. I want to tell you guys I bumped the movie today because of everything that's going on, and did we talk about Kim Iverson yet, or am I just having dementia and things too?
No, we skipped the Kim Iverson.
Okay, I want to get into Kim Iverson and close it out here just real quick. Kim Iverson says the real reasons protests are sweeping the nation. And, I disagreed with Kim with her views on the Swedish model for condemning the pandemic, and I still do. I've always credited her with doing research. And what did you say earlier about Kim? Can you give us the rabbit hole analogy?
Well, Kim goes deep down the rabbit hole. So I think she's seen a lot of information on COVID that maybe she's not putting out there in a mainstream narrative. So I'm not so quick to jump on her. I mean, I think there's a lot about COVID that we don't know, we don't understand, and we may never know where it came from, how it got released, those type of things. So
yeah,
I'm not quick to jump on her.
Yeah, I'm
she
not.
Did great today.
Yeah, and this is the clip. And I, mind you, I like Kim a lot, and I listen to a lot of her content. But when I disagree with her, man, I don't hold back. So this is Kim, and she's talking about some of the real reasons the protests are sweeping the nation. And I think there's some credence in this. I'm just going to play a few seconds of it.
Hearing about any of that. No one in leadership is talking about the fact that perhaps maybe the pandemic and forcing millions upon millions upon millions of Americans out of their jobs and forcing them into debt and forcing them to stand in lines at food banks and worry about their future and not be able to pay their mortgage and worry that they're going to be losing their homes. I mean, I'm hearing people around me in my own neighborhood arguing with each other, families being torn apart because they're worried they're going to lose their homes. And so we don't see any of the leaders talking about that. No, instead they're saying, okay, George Floyd's death, we're going to try to do something about that. I don't know what are they planning on doing about that? They've got the guy in jail who killed him, which was not fast enough. That the cop obviously should have been arrested right away. Obviously, the other cops need to be as well arrested and charged. So clearly there's things that need to happen when it comes to George Floyd's death. But there's also another protest going on, and I just can't stress that enough. That is why we're seeing the looting. That is why we're seeing the graffiti. That is why we're seeing the violence. People are absolutely feeling like, a boot is against their neck. All of America is feeling this way, and we need to recognize that. So I see that there's a lot of people missing the point. I hear people in the media all day today saying, peaceful is okay, but these riots and lootings are misusing George Floyd's death, and they're just missing the point. There's another point that is just really being missed, and it's this opportunity that Trump had to get it and to resonate a message to the people, and instead he's really botched this. And I really think come November, I'm at the point, I don't think he's going to win. I actually think Biden surprisingly will win the election.
Well, there you go. That's, pandemic reaction, whatever. What do you think about what she said, ladies?
I think she's right. And actually, I've thought about this too. The people out, there are a few different things going on out there. There is the fight for injustices for sure for our Black and brown communities. But yes, people are grasping for any little bit of hope or any little bit of anything because they don't have any. They've been out of money. $1,200 does not. How long has it been? 3 months now since we've kind of been on a lockdown in a way. $1,200 does not help in that situation. They're desperate, and so the looter's going to grab these food and things like that. I would say, 100%. It has to do with more so with the pandemic and our government not taking care of its people like it's supposed to. And so they're grabbing what they can to survive. But then, of course, there is always that underlying element that just wants, havoc and chaos. But she's right. I've thought about it, but I haven't talked about that piece yet. She's absolutely correct. We need to talk about that piece of why others are out there and taking things.
Shanda?
Whitney at the Green Report says the Second Great Depression. How did we get out of the First Great Depression? Does anybody know? World War II, right?
A war. And there was more to it, but the war, that the build up the industrialization, get people working, works projects, WPA, all that stuff. The whole view, the whole mentality, the whole, how people were back in those days in that situation, coming off of a starving society, and they just wanted to go to work. They weren't the video gamers. They weren't the Antifa. They weren't the, all the personal stuff. So, Rhonda?
I don't know if I have much more, for this. Just war is not the answer. There's plenty of jobs here to do to take care of our own infrastructure, our own communities.
Well, is that what the comment was about? You're going to get us into another war to get us out of this, or no?
No, that's my take on it. You see the setup. If you know history and you know who funds both sides of any war that we've had in the last 200 years, you understand the setup. So they're oppressing us. They're taking our jobs from us. They're taking our homes from us. And then they're going to say, and what's Trump? 4 days ago, Trump came out and said, we're going after China. We're going to punish them. They're setting the stage, basically. And then you have companies like Raytheon and Boeing and all of these manufacturers that are in the smash and grab right now. They're the ones that are getting these HEROES Act funds and CARE Act funds. It's not the people at the bottom. I'm not going to speculate. I'm just saying, when you look at history and you look at what's happening now, there's a lot of relation.
A lot of similarities for sure. I just want to thank you, ladies, again today for Women's Wednesday. Let's get more ladies in here next week and kick Oz out where he belongs, behind the curtain.
I like having you in here, Oz. It's all right.
I know. I love being in here with you, ladies. But the more voices, the female view, the ladies' view on things is kind of our goal. My goal personally at Uphill Media to get that disparity righted instead of having a 30-to-1. I want to get this platform up, and I'm sure Marcus and the rest of the board agrees with that aspect of what Uphill Media does with everything else. So upcoming shows, we got a show tomorrow night by somebody very special to us. Who would that be? Shanda?
Join me tomorrow night. The Serious Blonde's going to take a deep dive into Brickgate. I'm not going to give you my opinion on it. I'm just going to lay out all the evidence I'm coming across, and you can form your own opinion.
You're gonna
lay out the bricks. I'm not gonna lay out the
Oh my god!
I don't know if we meant to do that, but that was good.
Oh, that was good.
Sorry.
I like that. I'm drafting you to the marketing department right now. Yeah, we've got No Joke with Dennis and Marcus and John and maybe me. I don't know. Saturday 10 a.m. No Joke. They always have a great show. They've just done it great. And then Sunday morning we have Larry Taylor. I believe he's doing a PDPR, and that is going gangbusters. People to reform the Democratic Party, which is an impossible task, but Larry is stepping up with hundreds and hundreds of other people. It's really exciting. So many people.
It is growing and growing across the nation.
Yeah.
Larry Taylor is amazing, and I want to say thank you to him for all of his time that he spent on not only trying to reform the Democratic Party, but taking the time out to go to classes and becoming a parliamentarian, a national recognized parliamentarian. That's a lot of knowledge that most people do not want to have at all. So thank you for doing that, Larry.
Yeah, he
so
knows
much.
what the hell he's doing. Again, and then Sunday we have brunch with Shanda again. She's got a great show coming up. We're going to have an announcement soon, I think, that should cheer everybody up even more. We're growing leaps and bounds. We're going to start promoting our Rockfin channel over there because we love YouTube so much. So we're going to be working on that with premium content over at Rockfin. So please go over to sign up free at Rockfin. And if you see that we're loading lots of premium content, subscribe through the Uphill Media channel at Rockfin. Don't subscribe through Ron or everything. And by the way, I just saw Jimmy Dore. He popped up over there. So now Jimmy's on Rockfin.
You're telling them not to subscribe to somebody?
No, I'm not telling him that. I just subscribe. it's the little people.
Endorse us. If you're going to endorse us.
If you're going to endorse us. So we are
yeah.
trying to ask, our fans to go in and subscribe to the pages. So yes,
for sure.
Come in. If you've given even a few bucks, because I know some of you guys out there are so wonderful, and you give us like a few bucks here and there, and it adds up.
That's
it adds
great.
up, and so it is $10 a month. So I know you guys like putting a few here and there for every show, but we'd be okay if you'd like to lump it all up into a $10 monthly.
Just
throw it over there, and we will start coming over there with more and more things. We promise, but we do want to get away from YouTube, who can shut us down or make us conform to their ways. And as you know, we like to come out with a little bit different than what's the norm.
Yeah, and
so,
even the big ones on YouTube have been screaming bloody murder in the last week, how they're getting throttled so bad. So I think there's got to be a mass exodus as soon as some of these platforms get big enough to handle all the traffic. So we're going to go.
Raise your hand if you'll follow us over there. If something comes down here and you want to be able to keep up with us, that is a place that you can go. Again, you can sign up for free. So don't worry, but if you don't have it, you can sign up for free.
Yeah.
But we do want to make sure there's a place we can all go if things go to crap.
Yeah, and they are going to crap right before our eyes. Now, we started off with this one. I want to run it again real quick. Just bear with me. It's the 22nd. We started the show off today with this. Just remember, this kind of shit happens. These are never mind. Just listen.
So we have a group of people blocking traffic on Albany and Dean Street. They're refusing to let the orange go eastbound on Dean Street and Albany. So we're stuck here.
Run them over. Shoot those motherfucker. Don't put that over the air.
Yeah, don't say that over the air. You're exposing us. So, again, I didn't know. I had no idea how I was going to lead into the outro song. And this, take it any way you like. But what I'm hopeful, and this isn't Oz's version of hope and change, but I'm hopeful because this generation, the young people today are going to get this shit handed to them. They're getting it handed to them now. And I believe they have the heart, the spirit, the passion to really make a difference for future generations. And this little gal, her name is Lynnea M, and she's got a pretty good following. She's got 1.3 million subscribers, and I'm sure I'm going to get dinged by YouTube, but I don't give a shit because she's showing the passion of what I see in youth today once they finally get involved. And this is pre-pandemic, okay? This is more of the passion I'm focusing on, not the Floyd murder, not the optics of what's going on, but this young lady is what I see in our youth today. So thank you very much, Shanda, Rhonda, and everybody for joining us and putting up with my shtick, whatever. This is Lynnea, No Time to Die. It's a cover by Billie Eilish. I hope you enjoy it as much as we did. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day.
I should have known I'd leave alone. Just goes to show that the blood you bleed is just the blood you owe. We were a pair, but I saw you there. Too much to bear. You were my life, but life was far away from fair. Was I stupid to love you? Was I reckless to help? Was it obvious to everybody else that I'd fallen for a lie? You were never on my side. Fool me once, fool me twice. Are you dead for paradise? Now you'll never see me cry. There's just no time to die. I let it burn. You're no longer my concern. Faces from my past return. Another lesson yet to learn that I'm falling for a lie. You were never on my side. Fool me once, fool me twice. Are you dead for paradise? Now you'll never see me cry. There's just no time to die. No time to die. No time to die. Fool me once, fool me twice. Are you dead for paradise? Now you'll never see me cry. There's just no time.